Hello, my name's Denise. This is my vlog that I'm just sort of tracking my art journey a little bit and wanting to improve my paintings. And so self-critiquing the work when I come to a stage where I'm not quite happy with it and want to take it further. Sometimes I'm videoing that process. So that's what you'll see in today's video. A couple of sort of still life paintings, I guess. And I'll show you and chat through the changes that I've made and why, and hope that that's helpful. I've got a little friend who wanted to be with me today as I was videoing. This is Aura, a quiet little dog. She's 14. She loves cuddles and she's pretty sweet. So you might see her sometimes popping in. She's a bit quiet. Okay, so I hope you enjoy it. Bye. I've got these two here I've been working on today. Again, working toward a little bit of a deadline. So I didn't film the process. I thought I'd just get on with it. But as I'm coming to look at this one now, I thought I would share with you what's going on for me and the process, what I'm thinking about, and whether I'll make this change or not. In a way, that big plant is okay because it's different, and all these other bottles are quite different to it. What's bothering me is how much it's dominating the center. So I was thinking about making another bottle and making that go up there and getting rid of that. I might take it to the iPad just to check first, because then I just might have too many kind of bottle shapes, that not enough difference in those. So that's what I'm thinking about with this one, and I'll show you what eventuates. This one here, I might just swap the places because it helps me hold the camera down lower. This one, I'm curious about if there's enough pale, like the value contrast. Is there enough light value there? This is the one I had the, what do you call it, masking fluid over the plant and the chair, and then when I took it all off, it was a bit of a problem. It didn't all come off very well, and I couldn't remember, but I thought I covered all the leaves, but when it came back, the paint of the background stayed in the center of the leaves, so I had to bring neo colors in, and I've added color to those leaves. So I'm hoping there's enough strength of color and contrast in those to be standing out from the, because I've tried to do an interesting background for a change. I used to always just block things in with quite thick white, which I sort of enjoyed for a time, but I'm wanting to push in a different direction at the moment, and trying to get looser, and so I really enjoy these rough shapes. I'm quite delighted by those. So I think, out of the two, I am enjoying I'm enjoying this one more. The differences are better for me. I've also put that kind of horizon line, which could be a table. Well, it is a table in this case because of putting that chair there. So I'm quite happy with that small kind of story. It's like somebody's had breakfast or something. But this one is causing me a little more challenge. I particularly love that, and that was by using masking fluid. Sorry, can you see that? That and that. Yeah, that was by using masking fluid. So now my question for myself is, what do I do about this thing? Because I've tried to repaint that so many times, and it reminds me of sage, like sage leaves, but it's sort of like, I don't know, it's bothering me. I like that it's big. So yeah, like I said, I think I'll try it and Procreate and see what happens, and I'll let you know. Nope, I didn't have any patience to go to Procreate with this one. When I saw the chalk drawing of the white bottle in front of the plant, I thought it was worth trying to do that first, because what I had thought of is I needed to get rid of that big one because it was too big and bold and center bullseye, taking up all the oxygen. But now that I've done that white bottle using just straight ink and then added that sort of stem to it, it's broken up that giant big pot plant sort of thing, and I've got to step away and let the inks all dry because they all started to run into each other, because that's what happens when you're impatient. So I'll let these dry and then come back and revisit, but I'm pretty happy with how that changed the dynamic significantly. So it's Monday morning and I'm coming back to visit these, and when I look at them together, I think they kind of relate because of their color, but I'm definitely more pleased with the one on the right. There's sort of a lot of elements that are talking to each other, and there's differences about them and things. I am wondering if there needs to be a little bit more matte, or do you see what I'll explain what I mean. On the table at the bottom, there's a lot of swirly, different sort of transparent patterning, and also in these two bottles, and then also in the leaves, there's a lot of different kind of colors and shades, and then I've made some interesting things in the background. So as a whole, I think it might be working, or it could feel a little busy. But when I look over at this one, see how I've sort of calmed that table cloth, sort of like if it's a round table. It's still got some differences about it, but it sort of feels, this painting kind of feels a bit boring to me. There's something that this painting has and this one doesn't. I mean, I kind of love the shape of that blue chair as well, but this one here, there are elements that I'm really enjoying. Like, I think this is probably my favorite sort of thing, this and this. That's what I'm probably loving the most, and I quite love that bottle. This one here, not so much. Like, I generally do love blue, and I like that it's different to the rest. And so I'm looking at this and go, yeah, I could sort of leave it, but I kind of can't. It's bugging me. And this one was my favorite one from the very start because of its wonky shape. And now I feel like it's kind of lost. And all of these ones are much bigger and louder. So I almost feel like taking that one out, but that's sort of a shame because that was my favorite the way it is. So that's what I'm thinking as I'm looking at this one, and wanting to remind myself to be kind of bold or brave when it's a bit ordinary. Well, then it might just sit in a gallery or store and not go anywhere. So I'm better to enjoy pushing it further here, and then maybe that is more, it will be received better out in the world. You know, it's always a catch-22 in a way, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. And I'm almost thinking I might be better to go and do something else completely, like in a sketchbook or something, because whilst I'm quite hesitant, I have more chance of just ruining it for ruining its sake and then be having to kind of start again. And I'm not wanting to do that. Like, I think these are further enough along that there is bound to be a few things that I can do to improve them. but it doesn't mean I would want to go and ruin all of the work that I've done, particularly with some of these kind of transparency things, which are kind of my favorite thing. Having some transparent paint in the work I particularly love, because as soon as I take all of that away, it really flattens, which is very interesting because I have recently bought myself matte paints and I haven't got around to trying them yet. But that'll be curious because there isn't the same transparency qualities, I don't think. So, but then, you know, when you look at this, it's too much transparent paint. Do I need more flat paint? And that's what I was trying to do with the background, to have it be more solid but yet pale. And then I coloured in this chair more solid, but I love it because I've done a couple of different shades of blue. So that one really feels like an old chair that's one of your favourites and you don't let it go. I'll tell you why I did that, because what I was inspired by this, how I did that rough stripe there. I loved it so much. I thought I want to do that over here, and I wasn't patient enough. In fact, I might just wash that cup off. Yeah, so I felt like that one, it came across rough or loose, but I love it. Whereas when I was doing it here, the brush marks were a little bit, oh, let me think. I guess I was feeling like, is this a plate or a cup? I was losing, oh, sorry, a plate or a bowl. I was losing the plot with that a little bit. And I just carried on pushing forward, being quite messy about it, and realized afterwards, no, I wish I was a little more quiet and careful, and even just letting the pale stripes dry first and do the blue stripes first or whatever, and just take a little more time. So I'm giving myself the opportunity to just do that again a little more quietly. And what I like about it is that it will bring these two paintings together to talk to each other, so they would make a lovely pair. And they also, it takes these two pieces to a different place, to be different and a set. And the fact that I've got all of that transparent paint, having solid and a pattern, is very different. So it'll make them stand out and be their own little things, and not try and be confused with what's happening here, where these look like they're glass. And so these two, they're sort of like, don't know if they're Arthur or Martha in this particular painting. And so that is why I was thinking, oh, that would really feel nice to have that stripe come across to here. So that's my thinking behind this. Okay, so I'm looking at this one again, and I felt like that blue bottle is really dominant and taking over, and I didn't want to get rid of it completely, so I just used some chalk to get rid of the bulk of it and make it more slender. And I'm being aware that I want to make it different in shape to these ones here, so that's what I'm looking at now, and I think I can use a wet cloth and play with the shape and the chalk before I come in with white paint. But I already feel like that may help, just narrowing it down, because it was really quite big, solid, and because it's the brightest color, I was concerned that would stop the viewer being able to go and wander around the whole painting.